Corsair, Hacks, and GGBet.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We've seen our first semi-final of Finals Day here at DreamHack Summer 2018, and now Optic are waiting in the wings. They're warming up, they're on the heavy bag, the speed bag, punching away waiting for their opponents, who will be either Imperial or Gambit. It's time for our second semi-finals. My name is Parla, and I am your desk host for the duration of this event, and I'm joined by Jacob and Dust. Guys, I think it's fair to say this next match, not necessarily in terms of which way it could go, but in overall terms, is quite unpredictable. These two teams, Gambit and Imperial, squaring off against each other, the way the rosters are formed, Gambit having a brand new player.
The thing is, we have a known quantity, which is Gambit, known for being less good than they were a year ago. They're decent, but not that great anymore. And then we have the unknown quantity in terms of Imperial, which is a team going into this tournament. I don't think any of us expected them to even be in the semi-final. They went out of the groups in the first place, beating North, despite North maybe not having their best tournament either, but still a great showing. So we have one known and one unknown quantity going up against each other. And I think the fact that one of them is unknown could make this matchup a little bit interesting.
What we do know is that Imperial started off their competition at DreamHack Summer 2018 very, very strongly. They moved directly into the semi-final from day one, correct, Dust?
Yeah, that is indeed correct. It was definitely, like we said, very surprising. I kind of thought that AGO and North were going to be the two teams to move on from this group, but indeed it was them beating North and beating AGO in a very one-sided fashion. And the youth of this team in particular really showed up in both of those games, really showing some of that individual talent that they kind of fostered in the depths of FPL that you know all so well. So yeah, they really put that on display as first day.
Yeah, talking about the youth on Imperial, we've got, I can never say his name correctly, the Nuke. Can we just call him the Nuke? Nuki. Yeah, sure. And then of course we have Esperanto and Nexa. Guys like that going up against people like Dosia and Adrian. What's the dynamic?
That's a good question. It depends whether they have confidence or not. If they come in with full confidence, if they come in with the same confidence they have when they play FPL, then it could be very dangerous for those old guys in terms of Adrian. But on the other hand, if they come in and show a little bit too much respect, there could be some of the things, it plays into factor as if you look up to somebody, like Adrian is a guy who's been around forever. If you're certainly sitting on a server and has to play against him and you respect him too much, then you may not play your own game and you may not play the game with confidence. And I know it's a buzzword for a lot of Counter-Strike fans out there, but you cannot mention confidence enough. If you have confidence, if you feel the game, if you're on the right, you just play 10 to 20% better all the time. And if you don't have that, you're going to miss those 10-50%. And in a game where everything is so close and everything is down to an error every single time, those 10-15% could be the difference maker. So they need to come in here clear-headed and just play their own game and do their own thing, because that's what's going to throw these old guys ahead.
Yeah, we'll be getting into vetoes at some point soon, but firstly, let's continue our discussion with regards to Imperial and how maybe their leadership in the form of Crystal compares to that of Gambit's. That is, in a way, right now, Dosia who's making the calls, but sometimes it's unclear exactly how much information is coming from him and mid-round calls are coming from other people.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where even though that they don't have like a true in-game leader, I feel that they're still kind of living off the remnants of what Zeus left behind. I feel like they play a lot of the same spots, that they like to play a lot of the same maps. They have just in general a similar style. They might be a little bit looser than Zeus's time period there, but because they had built this foundation with Zeus on who did what on each map and built that muscle memory and built some of those routines, those are still things that you can kind of carry on, especially since I think towards the end of Zeus's tenure, Adrin was stepping up and taking a lot of secondary calling duties, which he still does even to this day. So I think there is still something left that they can hold on to put to use, despite the fact they don't have like a true in-game leader.
Imperial, as one of the teams starting off this tournament that was touted as an underdog, having got directly through to the semi-finals and then had a day off yesterday, is that going to be of benefit, Pimp? Because there are quite a few complexities to a situation like that, whether time will be well spent, whether they'll be too relaxed, and potentially if they'd had more games dropped into that lower bracket, they could have been, more in the swing of things.
There's always pros and cons, as you said. You know, one of the pros being the fact that you have more time off, you have time to study the games. They got to see Gambit play twice yesterday as well, so there's a lot of map and a lot of information they could have picked up on throughout yesterday. On the other hand, as a player, and you guys probably can attest to it too, the more you play, the more you sit in front of your computer, the better feeling you have. You know, and especially on LAN, you know, you want to sit as much as you can in the chair in the booth where you feel the same setup. Because when you're sitting at home, you have a different chair, you have a different height of table, you have a different setup basically. So the more experience you get on a certain setup, the better. So there's always pros and cons to it. I will say though that if I were Gambit, I would be happy, you know, having played so many maps already now. They're comfortable with the setup, they're comfortable with each other, whereas Imperial, we're yet to see what they're really made of. You know, it was best of ones the first day, so we have to see them in a best of 3, we have to see them perform now, and it's a completely different situation now.
It can be deceiving, right? There's been so many times I've seen someone just come out the gate with like 2 big best of 1 victories looking hot, and then they just fall flat whenever they actually get tested in the series. So you always got to be a little bit careful about how much hype you put behind some best of 1 victories.
Okay, let's start to talk about maps and the veto. From Gambit's side of the table, maybe looking to secure cash, and that could be a ban for Imperial. Do you think Imperial are going to look to lock down Mirage? Guys, give me your thoughts.
I think with Gambit, they could either ban Nuke or Inferno. I've seen them do both, so I'm not really sure. I would say get rid of Inferno. I don't think that Imperial is like a super big threat on Nuke, so I think I would leave it and ban for the Inferno instead. If you're Imperial, they have a new in-game leader now, and they don't have a lot of series under his belt, so I'm not really sure which direction they would go. I would say get rid of Dust 2, because I know Gambit will pick it, and I know that Gambit can play it pretty well. They haven't really played it at all. So I think that would be kind of the ban I'd pick.
Didn't know our cameraman was going to switch there. You've caught me. We often, you know, keep the energy going when the camera...
You say we often. You often, Pala.
You know, I like to keep it going, so
That's
I'm
fine.
ready for
We enjoy the show here.
That's interesting.
Either way, Dust, we appreciate the points, and you can see the ban has come out for Dust 2 from Gambit. Imperial have banned out Nuke. You say that's interesting?
No, I think the Nuke ban made sense. I think Gambit banning Dust 2 was a little bit interesting.
There we go.
Gambit
Cash
picking
and
Cash,
Mirage.
yeah, those are the picks that are expected, so not too much to say there. I think that was kind of what we thought was going to happen.
Picks for both teams that works out. You know, Cash, one of those maps where especially players like Esperanto and Nukian get to show the individual level.
Inferno.
Inferno's well being the decider. I think both maps make sense for both Gambit and Imperial, and I think Inferno is always, you talked about it in the first match, you know, Inferno seems to be this middle ground for all teams in the world. Everyone likes to play Inferno for some reason, despite I personally hate it. I think it's a map that's very compact, you know, and it requires not so many skills to be good on it, I feel, and then again, if you want to be really good at it, it's probably one of the hardest maps to get like really good at, so it varies from team to team, but it's always a great middle ground. So I feel we have 2 maps, you know, who each have their each favorites, and then we're probably going to go into Inferno, let's be honest, and that's going to be a close one.
I'd love to dive into those points with you specifically, Pimp, about Inferno, considering your experience as a player. But now, let's hear from the players themselves. Imperial and Gambit had a little chat with us before the game got underway.
We have at least 4 players who just won a major, so I think we can do big things, but we have the problems like at the mental, maybe some of psychology. So if we'll fix it, we can win a lot of trophies.
Site back to Old Faithful, but will it be faithful enough? Death has opened up, but it's shots coming through from Adren, and Mo chiming in with the AWP. The bomb is dropped, and so is Death. No scope from Mo, and he is having none of it. 10 rounds for Gambit. Easy stuff for Mo and Adren.
I'm feeling very excited and extremely happy right now, because it's been a while since we performed this good, especially on LAN. Coming into this tournament was just to make it to the semis, to the playoffs, you know, and we already done it. So I think we'll go into semifinals with no fear. We don't have anything to lose. We already proved that we are still capable of fighting with top tier teams, and we'll just keep playing our game till the end.
Being found from him as well, as he knocks out Valdi. Now Esperanto runs in, finds 2 more pickups, and just like that, it's Imperial with great control over the situation, and they're going to be able to secure it as they flank out AZ, eliminating the last man.
I think after replacing Asilion and adding Crystal to the lineup, it's brought a lot more structure to the team, and I think everyone is now more happy with their roles, and we kind of know what we do as individuals and as a unit. So I think everyone is feeling more cheerful and more willing to play, and we all have much more motivation than we had before.
Our lineup looking very good right now. Mir came to us, and Mir, very nice guy. He's young. We can teach him some things, and he has awesome and very good aim. We are stronger, at least about experience, but everything can happen, so we will see.
To our opponents in the semifinals, all I have to say is you're going home.
Nexa, I'm not sure I'm buying the lie. You need to deliver it with a bit more fervor and a bit more aggression. However, I do think you kind of believe it. Pimp and Dust, let's talk about Imperial in a bit more detail. Dust, maybe you can start us off with those three players that we highlighted before, the young guns, Esperanto, Nexa, and the Nuke.
Yeah, so those are the three guys that have been on this team from the get-go, and this is a team that kind of impressed everyone by having that big run at Copenhagen Games just a few months ago, beating North and beating Heroic, taking a title, just kind of coming out of nowhere from that Man's Not Hot team, getting picked up by this Imperial organization. Great team name, by the way, but Elaine, rest in peace. And then we kind of move on. Yeah, he wasn't, apparently, but moving on, I guess, I don't know. I'm not here to judge that. I'm just here to judge analytical Counter-Strike. But anyway, after that, things really kind of dropped off for them, you know, not qualifying for a lot of events. This event's actually really the only event they qualified for lately, but then they make the change to bring in Crystal as an in-game leader, and they came off on a hot start here so far with a great first day of Counter-Strike from this team. All the youth on this team looked really good. There's Next on your screen, probably their most consistent fragger throughout both the games. Look at those ADR stat. It is pretty ridiculous. And then the two Lithuanian players, Esperanto and Nuki, also fantastic work from them so far.
Absolutely. Now, Pimp, tell us about your fellow countryman, Tensky. You highlighted him as a player that doesn't mind doing the dirty work, a guy that is happy to be a role player, and we're not talking Dungeons and Dragons.
He's pretty dirty. Tensky is a player that is a rock solid player. He knows the fundamentals of the game, and he's very good at pursuing those fundamentals. He's a guy that brings in stability to a team, and especially in these days where Counter-Strike is a lot right now. I feel like we have a phase where it's all about the aim, it's all about the stats, it's all about the ADR. It's great to have players that don't really care about that. It's great to have players that have accepted their fate, which Tensky has. He's not the best. He's not the best player. Sorry, he's not the most skilled player either. But he's good enough to be here and be a rock solid player, and he fulfills that job to perfection. You know, he could be a guy.
I hope the door's not open to the booth right now, and he's hearing this with one ear.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
I
could tell that to his face as well. He's not the best player, but he's up there. You know, just under the best. And if he can play his role at the best, then he becomes the best as a role, right? Same guys like Valde for North, for example. He's not a conflict type. He could maybe be, but he's just fulfilling his role to perfection. That's what Tensky is giving this team, especially considering there's so many young guys on it.
I'd like to talk a bit more about Crystal, but we should move on to Gambit. This CIS roster, a Pan-Kazakhstan Russia roster. We've got Adrian, Mo, and Hobbit representing their country of Kazakhstan, and Dosia and Mer from Russia. And so at this tournament, they did fall down into that lower bracket after getting absolutely thrashed by Gambit in their initial best-of-1 matchup. But then they clawed through the lower bracket by winning 2 best-of-3s against Renegades and Complexity, Dust.
Yeah, I mean, this is a team that, you know, obviously won PGL Krakow, and directly afterwards when Zeus left, they had that Masters Malmo event where they placed top 4, and so it looked like, oh, maybe this team can still, you know, hang on without Zeus, but really dropped off since, and up until very recently, actually did okay at DreamHack Tour, top 4, but then directly went out in groups at Star Ladder, so still took a big hit. And I think that the way...
Star Ladder was a big disappointment for them,
Yeah, certainly.
And especially losing to a Vanguard.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like, losing to, like, one of the teams that's supposed to be kind of below you within your region definitely hurts. And I think Pimp kind of nailed it with the term identity crisis. Like, we know that the leadership of this team has been shuffled so many times. Dosia now the one really taking the reins of this team. Definitely not a guy that would strike you as being an in-game leader, just because normally he's kind of just, you know, a slow player kind of on his own a lot of the time, but now he has to be responsible for the entire team, you know, directing traffic, and I think that's a big responsibility to have. He's never really done it before, and I think that's been the story for most of these players, having to step up and do something they haven't had to do before.
I'd be interested at some point to listen to their communication. I mean, I'm sure I wouldn't be able to understand it, but in terms of Dosia giving course, because if you meet him, he's a hilarious guy, but he's quite reserved and calmly spoken. And so in terms of in-game leading, do you have any sort of idea what kind of style he's bringing to the table?
I think it's a joint in-game leading role. I think he's maybe the face out to the public. He's sitting in the middle. He's probably the guy, you know, calling his strats from the beginning. But the inner workings of this team is surrounded around Hobbit and Adrian. Those are the two main fraggers in this team. Those are the two guys making the plays, creating the space. So whenever they hear something on a certain place of the map, they will be the guys calling out, and Doja will be the guy maybe taking the last decision. But it's more like a joint role where they help out each other, and not like MSL, for example, in North, where he's like the in-game leader, also calling in the mid rounds. It's more like a joint role. Everyone chimes in, everyone helps out each other. Adrian on your screen right now, a guy that once were one of the best players in the world, have fallen off a little bit. Guy on your left, Esperanto. Look at those stats. A guy that maybe could in the future be the new agent, be one of the best players in the world. Those are two interesting prospects for this matchup, because both these players need to step up big time for their teams if they want to have any chance of winning this one.
They're both the riflers on their team that are on the aggressive side of the spectrum. Like Esperanto is an opener, and so is Adren. So they're going to have to be the ones to try to open up rounds for their team. They also, funnily enough, are sometimes the secondary oppers for their teams, and that could become a factor, especially on like Mirage CT side, where double op is actually a pretty big staple of the meta of playing that map.
Guys at home or wherever you are in the world watching on Twitch, do not forget to vote for who will win this match. Exclamation mark Imp for Imperial and exclamation mark GMB for Gambit. Did you know that an Imp is a mythical creature?
Yes.
Something to do with fire?
I did indeed know that.
Yeah, I know that because of Diablo.
Thanks for letting us know, Paula.
I know. Anyway, we're talking about Counter-Strike, and I wanted to talk a bit more about Crystal. First, everybody at home, take a look at the odds on screen provided by GG.bet. Looks like Gambit are our favourites. Now, going back to Crystal, Pimp, tell me about him. I'm not sure how much experience you have with competing directly against him, but I know that you know about him and his lineage and history in CS. Yeah. And I remember speaking to him the day before yesterday, and pointing out that I feel like this team has that risk again that he's had in his career, where he has these young, up-and-coming players firing off on all cylinders, and then they get taken away.
At this point, he just got to suck it up. Maybe that's what he's meant to be, you know, the new teacher, a new European in-game leader who's, there's a limit to some players. I would say there's a ceiling, and if Crystal is one of those guys who is hitting his ceiling right now and just have to accept the fate that unless he can create a super team right now, he will be poached. His player will be poached. He's a guy that have been around for a while. I played against him 5 years ago, I remember, you know, and he's a great guy, a very calm guy. I really liked the interview we did with him yesterday. He's trying to help out the team. He just wants to make his teammates better. It's so great to have a leader within a team that does that for you, you know, especially when you're Esperanto, especially when you're Nuki. We talked about it the day before yesterday as well. These guys are born and raised in FPL. They're born and raised in Faceit, playing around, you know, running around, playing Faceit pucks, and that's one side of Counter-Strike. But there's also the more tactical aspect of Counter-Strike, and also being a great teammate. And if you have a guy like Crystal on your side, as well as Tensky being the rock for the team, helping you to improve that area, then these players can become very good players instead of just being good players.
Whilst I remove a hair from your nipple, I'm going to ask you for your prediction, Jacob.
Yeah, I think Gambit is one of those teams that not only grow on me tournament by tournament and as they proceeded in the tournament, but they also seem to be a team that always starts out slow and then get better and better. Obviously, we saw at Star Series they didn't really get better as they lost pretty quickly, but I think Gambit is getting there now. They got some decent wins yesterday. They look better, so I think Gambit is going to take this one. Experience will most of the time win over the youth, but let's not take it an easy game. I think it's going to be a close one, 2-1.
Yep, I will also go with Gambit. I think you're absolutely right in saying they warm up into tournaments sometimes. Now, let's head on over to Dust and his 3 reasons brought to us by Hacks.
Now, continue the trend of copping out at the start. So it's going to be 3 reasons why this game should be interesting, and first off, it should be because of the youth of Imperial. We got to see a sample of this on day 1, where Esperanto was an absolute brilliant talent throughout that first day. Even with the AWP in his hands, he was making big plays, but certainly a good rifler as well. Only 17 years old, and also from Lithuania, a country that doesn't get highly represented in CSGO. And then Nuki, also young at 20 years old, played really well. And then Nexa, the 21-year-old, also again from another country that doesn't really get a whole lot of exposure in CS, played really well. So I think that those are some big names to keep an eye on that could really pop off in this series. Then moving on over to Gambit, their stars have shown up so far this tournament. We really have seen Hobbit in particular be very consistent consistent throughout all the games that they played. That's exactly what you want to see. He's back into his old roles because C's is gone. He's right where he wants to be, and he's performing really well, which is great. Then we have seen Adren, Mo, and others really step up and play well also. And then thirdly, another reason why this series is interesting, it's always fun to see two teams that have very different styles clash against one another. So for example, the first map is Cash, Gambit's pick, and they're a team that plays really slow, methodical Counter-Strike, kind of rely on, someone like Dozy and Hobbit to play the perimeter while they, let Mo float around the op and look for picks, and then, Adren and Mir looking to be an entry duo at places. So they take a slow approach, whereas a team like their opponents over here over on Imperial, on their map pick, say Mirage, a very fast-paced team, just like to do a lot of quick 1-4 splits, have like loose, aggressive players like Esperanto and Nuki from the FPL circuit, as Pimp mentioned, that do just have that looser approach and can kind of just create fireworks, so to speak. So I think that's always fun to see those types of teams juxtaposed against one another. So that's why this game should be a lot of fun to watch.
Great stuff, Dust and Jacob. Now I have heard that this match is pretty much ready to go, and so let's get our casters in the mix. It's their final one of the tournament. John, Blue, Mullen, Niels, Risk, Top, take it away.
Thank you very much, Paul. It is indeed going to be our pleasure to bring you this second semifinals. We get ready to head into the grand finals. Legendary roster, major champions as well, not too long ago, just under a year ago, I do believe, and now they're here at DreamHack Open, fighting against Imperial for a slot in the grand finals.
Yeah, Imperial also looking to add something to their barely empty trophy locker. They have nothing to show for themselves so far, but they're a young team. They'll definitely get theirs in time. The question is, will they get that grand final right now? This is the strongest challenge, the biggest match they've ever played in this lineup. Yes, Copenhagen Games, they won that and they played against Northern Heroic, but compared to a DreamHack Open, that tournament is not the same size. So this is definitely the most important match they've played with this lineup so far, and the guys at home agree with Gambit on this one, and I would probably do so as well. I think Gambit will have the mentality and the structure and the star players to take it.
We're going to have to see if that'll be the case. Gambit has shown to have some issues even at this event. There's been a little bit of inconsistency, so Imperial might just be able to abuse that and use it to shut down Gambit and take control of this series to push them on to the grand final. It's certainly going to be another close one, that is for sure, and it is nearly time to get into it, ladies and gentlemen. So like we said before, our first map is going to be on Cash, and we're getting ready to dive into it in just a couple of moments. These two teams, like we said, fighting for a slot in the grand finals, where they'll face off against Optic in just a little bit. Let's get into it, folks. Cash is our opening map.
Cash is a map that Imperial have played 2 times in this current lineup. Both have been losses. Let's see if they can change it now. They start on the CT side, Crystal, Smoke, and Kit. On the T side, Smoke and Molotov on Dosha.
On the opening push, Gambit are pretty much just going to rush right down to the B halls here. Next, nice little shot against Mo, sniping him out of the air. He's going to try to do more, but will be quickly overwhelmed. And this is on top of Adrian's first pickup against Nuki as well. Doesn't even holding the flank, but Crystal sneaks in and drops the bomb. Mir carrying it as he goes down. And even a second one picked up by Crystal too, as he continues to wreak havoc from Heaven. Hobbit will quickly move in, at the very least, has picked up the bomb, but now they're at a disadvantage. Molly will finally go to Heaven. Curious as to why we didn't see that used earlier, but it will finally restrict the presence and allow for Gambit to get the bomb onto the ground.
Tensky, Crystal and Esperanto to retake this Hobbit 1v3.
Hobbit plastered to the site too. Nowhere for him to run. He has to fight here, and he goes down on the first battle. Esperanto takes him out, and it will be Imperial that start off with the pistol going into their favor.
Very nice retake, and good job by Crystal and the boys. One thing that people should notice at home, even though Crystal is this in-game leader, yes, he was a Sprout, he's been in the German scene, and he looks very young, and it technically is very young. He's had such a long history in the scene of esports. He started out in Counter-Strike Source. I still remember playing back against him back in Source, and I thought he cheated back then, but obviously that has been put to rest now. But he's been in the scene for a while. So he started out when he was like 13 or 12. The same age as Device actually started out as well. And so young, so good, very quickly into the game. So he's been around for a while. And that is why, even though he has a young age, he has a lot of experience.
So right now, starting off on our second round here, Gambit just pretty much fully saving into it this time around since they did get the plant. They're going to be looking forward to round number 3. Just a couple Deagle investments. Really all we see, Crystal actually getting hyper-aggressive. He's already moved forward to be able to spot some of these guys out. It's Esperanto that catches them over the boost, knocking out Adrian this early on into the round.
Mira and the boys now rotating around, grouping up in middle, but deciding not to go for the duel against Esperanto in mid, and that's probably a good choice, but damage being done by Crystal, or to Crystal. He has to rotate back and hold a more defensive posture.
Nice spot right there. Manages to push him back and away from this position. Esperanto still trying to take these duels in mid, though. He's got to be careful so he's not to overexpose himself, but maintains great control over it. In addition to Nex's recent pickup here from Z as well, it's going to shut down the rest of this situation as he takes out Hobbit and Imperial claim their second round.
Imperial, they need a good start here. This is a map that's not to their advantage at all, but if they can start winning that pistol, as we saw, if they win the first conversion or the first buy round, and they're looking quite good. They'll have some rounds at least on the board to make sure that even if they drop the rest and they change sides, and then they'll have a chance. CT side is not where they win most of their round. It's actually T side here in cash. Around 55% of their rounds are won there. A full AK setup is being purchased by Gambit, and they're setting up for a B push.
Quick little boost up to get Nuki inside of it as well, but he's going to have to turn his tail in a moment. As Nexa is also going to be positioned over here. Ready to take the fight, but he can only put up one. Hobbit immediately trades, and Nuki's already back in the site. Drops out, makes a lot of noise. Same thing though, only sneaks off one kill, is immediately traded up by Doja. Esperanto tries to sneak in, and just to get a kill for free, and the bomb gets dropped. But it's still encompassed in a molly, and a second one also gets thrown down as well. It's going to cause a lot of delay and give time for Imperial to get into position to retake.
Esperanto's always guaranteed to find like a 1v1 kill. His aim is ridiculous, and almost every single player who plays against him at a non-pro match level will whine about it, and even in a pro match, there's not a lot you can do, but Crystal will come in with an MP9 as well. Hobbit last man standing once again on the B bomb side, 1v3 it was, but now it's 1v1 against Tensky.
Doesn't know where Tensky's at, though. He's still looking towards Tree Room to spot him. You should have seen him by now, but it's far too late. Tensky knocks him out, and once again, it's Imperial that take control.
Very nice. Come back into the round. Tensky holding the defensive angle. We see that there are two ways you can play that angle, and he plays the one far back, just holding, waiting for someone on the other side of things to make a move, to make a mistake, and it happens. Doesn't see the edge of his body. Might be 4-3, might just be not having the focus on the right side of the screen, but doesn't work out anyways. 3-0. Probably guaranteed a 4-0 as well, since it's only Glocks and P250s. Crystal once again going aggressive into the main, picking up two, now rotating back. He's actually still facing.
He's ready to take the fight. Sadly, his teammate ends up blocking him at the end of the day, and he can only get one kill put up onto the board. So Imperial so far losing 2 overall, now 3 actually, as Mirror gets another kill from the P250. Good damage being done to their economy, but the round still goes the other way.
Yeah, and of course with 3 weapons down, and I think they had 3 M4s, might have just had the 2, but if they had 3 M4s, that's 1 M4 gone out, and as you said, doing damage to the economy with only 2 players alive. They're not going to get extra money out of it. They have to rebuy more than they save. That's the case here. Nuke with an op, full setup on every single CT player, all of them with Molotovs.
Mir ready to have himself move forward here and defend against any aggressive action in mid. More than anything, just a passive hold to make sure they don't push inside. Meanwhile, Doja is caught completely off guard by Crystal. Didn't seem like he was ready to take the fight at all, so it's Imperial again. They get the opening advantage.
Crystal has the perfect read on every aggressive angle he's taken, but he's also played very aggressively for the first 4 rounds now. So at some point, Gambit are going to realize this. They're going to pre-flash every angle they want to take towards A just to make sure that he doesn't get that advantage. But it's already a great advantage because this is probably going to be, this is 4-0 and a 1-man advantage to potentially go to 5-0. And Crystal has been in almost every single round doing some damage, getting a kill or getting map control or helping his teammates out. It's been involved.
So Esperanto still positioning himself back over in mid to wait for that, but he will eventually shift over towards top of highway since he has, I believe anyway, support from the vent side of things in the B-bomb side. I don't know if it's a boosted up vent play. Yeah, there we go. Nexa does have the boosted up position inside of the vents, so he is available to defend mid. If there's a push from there, Esperanto is still keeping his eyes on it as well should the play come in. But Gambit are remaining incredibly passive, incredibly quiet. It comes down to the wire here, and it works out for them because that gets Crystal to get aggressive, and Mo can finally punish and, more importantly, trade him out to bring us down to a 4v4 as they're getting ready to finally execute.
Nexa in the vent. Esperanto and Tensky on the side. That's the setup they have for this A push. Nothing is going to come through short. It's all going to come through the door and the main, and Tensky's there with an M4.
Tensky quickly picking up his opening kill. 2 more lined up behind him, but he's not able to get any of them. It's Esperanto instead that picks it all up, leaving Hobbit alone with less than 10 seconds to clutch in a 1v2.
No time.
He's going to try his best to move up here and get himself a kill or 2, but will just eventually go to Nuki anyway, giving the round to Imperial at 5-0 now.
Very nice defense. Those 2 players on the bomb side. That's what they need. Neil, of course, or Neil M, I should say, behind them. The coach of the team. Irish former player himself, if I'm not mistaken.
I was gonna mention the fact he's Irish.
Yeah,
It's,
always a fun guy. You can almost never understand what he says.
it's a nationality that you don't see in Counter-Strike too often at all.
I think it's him and then a former pro in CS Source called Windansky are the only 2 players that I've ever faced or met at a LAN that actually were from Ireland. Yeah, I think those are the 2 only ones.
Well, poor start from Gambit is going to cause them to trigger one of their pauses very early on in the game, only 5 rounds in. And as they're getting prepared for their second gun round now, it's going to be expiring, of course, right now, so we'll dive right back into cash here, see what exactly they'll bring to the table.
Yeah, C-sets are what's on the menu today.
I would have gone for the buy here, but apparently not.
Gambit, just want to go with those C-sets, man.
Very economical route that they're taking here right now, but as we get into it, Nuki tries to face off, but the flash against Simple forces towards the site. Gambit now push in. One of them goes down, but Nuki finds the second. Next, they can quickly pick up another one, but sadly cannot get that smoke onto the ground quickly enough, so ends up burning to it. The good news is Esperanto has already rotated in. The cavalry, so to speak, has arrived, and he'll close out with 2 more kills from up in heaven.
This is one of the rounds, like if we look back at the match before, North versus Optic, this is a round that North would have struggled in. But Imperial, they're just shutting it down. It looked very easy for them, even though this was a C-set armor with some utility buy. The Molotov timing is perfect. Yes, he doesn't get the first peek with the op, but he rotates back smartly with the Molotov. M4 players ready. Rotation comes in 5 to 6 seconds. Everything's on point so far, and I'm very impressed to say that for Imperial, because usually they're a team that will land good shots, will win individual duels, but will make a lot of mistakes. I haven't seen a lot of mistakes so far.
Mir gets himself a good opener as well there, moving forward to be able to knock out Esperanto. So Gambit hopefully waking up a little bit here so far. But again, Imperial have faced this on a gun round previously and already came back from it. As long as they don't overreact, as long as they don't give away too many additional frags, they still might be able to bounce back and pick up number 7 for themselves. Of course, they've got the waiting lurk too. Doja has positioned himself in the squeaky hallways, ready to go in late, whereas the rest of his teammates are still working for mid control currently. Specifically, Adrian getting himself to the white box, but he was heard. Nexa and Crystal both moving together, working as a team, gets them 2 kills. While this happened, though, Doja snuck into the A bomb site. They're trying to execute behind it, and Mo goes unnoticed, so his first kill for free, puts a second up onto the board, is looking for number 3, but doesn't account for Tensky, who's gone up the ladder, leaving only Hobbit in the fight now, all alone, just outside of A main and Squeaky Hall.
Yeah, and Tensky can just sit himself on top of the rafters now. Can hold both towards the door and the main. Okay. CT. Oh, Hobbit, what an opening, though. I thought he had that.
Plant will go down. Nuki, in the meantime, has changed out his op over to an M4. He's going to work closer to the site. Try to get himself... Oh, and Hobbit's going to make this difficult, too, as Hobbit's going to go right to the inside. I'm pretty sure Nuki might have heard the door shut, though. So, yup, Molly onto the ground. He can just stick on the defuse here. There, what is... Oh, my God, he actually made that? Is it going to spread it up? No. A smoke will go down, so it counters it, and Nuki just out-mind gamed his opponent to get the defuse. He'll die, but it doesn't matter. Imperial won the round.
The fact that you can throw smokes while holding down the bomb to defuse wins him the round there.
Yeah, pretty much. The mechanic of the game thankfully plays into his favor. That was an impressive, nice little on-the-dot thought there from our player from inside of the door from Gambit to quickly pop the molly off and try to get it over the bomb. Because he knew he couldn't run across that. He would have been a dead man. That was really his only choice.
The molly was on point. Like, if there was no smoke on the CT defusing player, that would have been a 1 round.
Pretty much. Thankfully, he did have that smoke. He did think quickly as well to put that onto the ground, and it saved the win for Imperial, along with his currently flawless record.
7-0.
Of course, Gambit coming in with another buy are going to look to stop that any further.
We do also need to remember this is Gambit's map of choice, and a map they're actually quite good at in general.
I mean, we saw just yesterday, right? In their initial match they played there, they just absolutely destroyed their opponents in that matchup. It was a Mo just having the time of his life. Made it into his playground, basically. But that is not what's happening here.
He's 16-6, or was a part of 16-6. Renegades, Adren also a big part of it, as he always is Nexus taken out.
Finally, Imperial losing good numbers here. This is exactly what Gambit needs to get a nice, easy execute. Still have to get to the site. Oh, Esperanto.
That is unlucky.
Either a misclick or just unscoped at the wrong time there.
Nuki now has to hit 2 shots if they want to go B. These terrorists, looks like it so far. Esperanto will be smoked out, and that's why Nuki's position is so key, and that's the round over. There's no way.
Yep, we can already see Esperanto turning tail and run back and save. And obviously, Tensky will be doing the same relatively soon, too. Mir's actually, I think, going to go hunting these guys down because he still has a good position back by White Box. So we can make a run up, try to cut Esperanto off and drop the op, preventing that very expensive gun from being saved. Esperanto expects it, though. So he will catch it out. And Tensky as well catches one kill, at least for
Very
himself.
Very important that these two saving CTs do a lot of economical damage, and they will. Because even though Gambit wins this round, their economy is not going to be that good. And if they then get reset, if Imperial take the round, the next one after this, economy for Gambit is going to be in shambles.
Problem is that Imperial don't have a whole lot either.
That is true.
Yeah, despite 7 rounds won as well. They have basically no money, in fact, so they might still be looking at an eco anyway.
1,250 on Nexa is the most amount. With 1,500 and 1,750 without a loss bonus on the CT side, actually I would go force buy this around the AWP. Because that's 2 players who are not going to be on full utility if they go for the buy the next round.
Yeah, that's true.
So this, in my opinion, should be C-sets and Deagles around it. Okay.
Yeah, they agree with you.
Nice. We're on the same page, Imperial.
So they're going to go for it as well. No, it's at the point where you pretty much just empty out your reg account and just go for it. So.
Yeah. All right, set up towards A main and 1 door. That's what Gambit plan on doing at this point. The AWP of Esperanto is in middle, so he can rotate in fast, but here comes the push.
Adrian specifically moving in, gets distracted a little bit, so it's Hobbit that gets the first kill picked up. Now as they wrap back around, one more player sits on the site. It's Crystal. He's only got a pistol as well, so he goes down. Esperanto, of course, is open to help with this op, but he's still positioned way far back, and that's it. Imperial are already giving up. They're going to give this round to Gambit. It'll be 7-2.
That's fair enough, to be honest. Like, they know in a post plant, like 5v anything, if there are 5 terrorists alive in the post plant, just don't challenge it, unless you're 5 players yourself. Like, that is the only scenario where maybe you can go in on it, because otherwise that's just not feasible. Also, Esperanto is the only one with the kit. He also has the AWP, so yeah. There's a lot of money being saved here, and this is the logical choice. The only problem with this is that 4 players will survive from Gambit. They will be allowed to kind of start building an economy without the loss bonus, and that's a dangerous play to allow for Imperial.
And Imperial themselves aren't necessarily saving a whole lot here. Just a CZ on Nuki, obviously the AWP for an Esperanto. That was the obvious save. And Nexa with only an MP7, so it's not an amazing amount of utility that they're getting away with and running back towards here. As a pause will be triggered by Imperial at the beginning of this round.
This should be the eco on the players without any weapons right now, though. All of them have around 2K, I think I saw. I don't think there was anyone. If there was someone, like 1950 might be it. So they will have money with a small loss bonus to get a full buy in the next round. So we're probably going to see the AWP, MP7, and the C-set. That's all.
It will be ending quickly here. We'll be jumping back into the action in just a couple of moments. Imperial looking to sustain their very aggressive lead that they had up until this point. All of a sudden, it's just kind of come to a screeching halt. This, of course, being the eco round, so no investment really for those that did end up dying over the course of the previous round. Maybe a donated pistol or something like that. I think Crystal's bought a Zeus, so that's the only thing they really get. Obviously, Gambit will be fully equipped.
Yeah, Esperanto at this point will be looking to just play very defensive angles and take some long-range shots if possible, but if nothing else, then just save his AWP and bring it into the next round. He's playing on the side right now, which in my opinion is kind of risky.
Esperanto again unscoping. He had himself locked into, but he couldn't see it because he was blinded back out. Nexa and Esperanto striking true, and Esperanto again hits his shot as he knocks out Mir. Only one still remaining in the site. They missed the Q on him, but they've let him in now. He's wrapped back around. Doja trying to complete the flank against these CTs, but they already know he's there, so it's not going to work. Nuki takes him down. Mo is now the only one still standing, stuck inside of A main, and actually gave himself a chance there. If he hit that second kill, might have been a real chance to clutch it, but does end up going down, and so Imperial will take back their advantage as they score an 8th round.
Esperanto's so good. Like, it's not even a discussion. The way that he knows how much money is on him at this point, and he still goes for facing straight up AWP duels. 2 straight up, 3rd one coming in onto Mo when the round is effectively over.
Just so consistently hitting his shots as well.
He's playing aggressively, even though he's the only one with an actual weapon against 5 AKs. Like, the balls, like, you gotta have to do that. Is insane. Very impressed.
Ooh, bit of spam connecting onto Mir as well, but somehow 3 shots only does 12 damage. Interestingly enough.
So, Gambit, money situation not perfect. Desert Eagle on Doja, limited utility. Mo has the AWP, that's at least a saving grace. But the rest of the team not looking in good shape. And this is where it gets really troubling for them, because Imperial, they have almost everything they want. Missing a bit of utility as well, but everyone has a perfect setup. Nuke will be taken down to 16 HP, but still slight advantage for the CTs.
Gambit just kind of throwing their players around the map right now to play into a default, and Imperial very much focused on even a kind of offensive T side, or even an offensive CT side here. In fact, you can see Esperanto almost getting taken out because of that.
Yeah.
Doja spotted him. I think it was partially through the doors, so we didn't do the damage that he was hoping to do.
That was also the box position in A main that Adren was in. You can slightly see over the red. If you're on that box, if you're not on it, you can't see anything. So that's a nifty little position to use. If you're sitting at home and trying to find out, like, how do I get entries on this A-bomb site without committing completely, just use the box.
Crystal still sitting back in the corner, waiting for the push to come in from Gambit as well. Him and Esperanto, two very big names here so far on this team of the map. There we go, Esperanto. He's gonna get him walking right into him. Misses his second shot though, so he's gotta get a little bit of room to Gambit to breathe here. They're gonna wrap around to the site. Doja hitting a great entry as well, and now Esperanto's really under pressure. He needs that rotate soon. It's gonna come in. Nexa moving forward, taking out the first player on the re-entry, and then he gets the final kill as well, as Esperanto picks up one more in addition to it too.
Almost a simple-esque. Like, he can frag out with an AK, but he can pick up that orb as a secondary as well and just do damage. Even close-range duels, it's not a problem for him. Complete player at such a young age. Nexa as well. Very consistent coming in with the rotations and with the frags at the correct times. A lot of damage from him that round also.
There will be a pause called, I believe, from Gambit again. Now they're back to square one. Reset once more. Now down by pretty much the same amount of points they were a couple rounds back. 9-2. Still a 7-round lead for Imperial.
Yeah, this is still a map with this iteration with Mur in the lineup. Like, Gambit, they still have 3 wins on it, or 2 wins and 1 OT on it. So it is a map, and also historically a map that they have been good at. They should be having an easier time here, but Imperial, they're just not letting anything happen. The individual skill right now on Imperial, and actually for the first time in a long time, like, the team structure is really showing. Crystal has really been good at bringing a structure to this team, and yes, Sicilian was good as well at that, but this is another level.
Constantly playing in their face too, like this with Tensky just going right inside of A main. Overstays his welcome a little bit, will be traded by Mir, but Crystal's got the spam to pick up 2 more as he takes down Hobbit and Adren. Now Esperanto looking for more, but the nade's gonna finish it all off as Crystal also sneaks in 1 more there at the end too.
Keeping the energy high in the booth as well. That's one of the roles that Neil M has. Not the most analytical of coaches, even though he will help here and there. He still has a semi-decent professional career, semi-professional career behind him, but he's also there just to take care of the guys, make sure that they're mentally at the right place. That's why he's always in there with the high fives, always in there with the fist bumps, just to make sure, okay, if it's going well, then keep feeding that. This is the upset result we're trying to make. AKs for Gambit though.
Another straightforward attempt from Gambit more than likely though. Look, again, it's just most of their players walking into A main early on.
Yeah,
it's like just a TD fall right now.
I feel like they have to utilize mid way more and also do B splits way more. Those 2 strats, I think, could do a lot of damage onto this CT side. But
even when they go mid though, it's like this. It's like 1 or 2 players going in. Mir gets some good timing though and moves in, catches Tensky unawares, and is going to be able to pretty much take him down for free. However, Esperanto, of course, will look for the trade if he peeks out at all from this cubby. He's got 1 lock, and there you go. Surprised it's not a headshot.
Adren though goes in, AK-47 in hand, Esperanto just above him.
I think anyone saw him go in there. He's got a good position to try and deal some damage.
How are you going to do this?
Lurk back around. There's the first pickup from Esperanto. Tries to go for a number 2 on the back lane. Still alive right now. He hits the shot. There we go. There's the connection. And somehow Doja didn't take him down amongst all that chaos. Nexus now alone. Hobbit gets caught wrapping around the corner. Nexus just 1 more shot's needed, but he's going to back away for right now.
He even have the Molotov for the bomb site. So he can probably... I'm not sure how he's going to play this. I wouldn't go directly peeking into the bomb site. I would just hold it down until I see the cross and then Molotov the bomb. Headshot angle being picked by Doja.
Oh, not but Nexa gets the better of him. And again, Imperial shoot ahead here as we enter the last round of the first half. It is currently 11-2. Doja can't even believe what's happening right now.
The energy in the Imperial booth must be insane right now. Like, you can see Neil is just yelling off the top of his lungs for every single round. Understandably. Like, this is a big, big upset if they take Mirage. They're playing well, all of them, on the Imperial side. No one's falling through.
Just CZs this time around for the most part from Gambit. A couple light pistols bought up in some utility to be able to push through and bring people out of position. That's it. That's all they've got.
And the only times I go for this B play is rounds like this. And I feel like if they try with AK-47s and utility setup with mid-control, one guy through vents, they'll have a lot of success, but haven't seen that yet. Molotov or smoke to cancel the Molotov. Play around that headshot angle. Pensky in vent will be taken out.
Adrian specifically knocks him out. They're trying to run around the corner here too. It's going to get a little bit chaotic, but at the end of the day, Imperial seemingly still have control over it, but Adrian's going to look for the clutch. Esperanto, who else but him to shut it all down and secure another round now at the end of the first half.
12-2 Imperial over Gambit. If you told me that would be where we're at right now score-wise, I probably wouldn't have believed you. I would have slightly in my heart wished it because it's an underdog and it's always fun to see an underdog win, but I would never have believed this.
They're playing it right though. Imperial specifically, the few times that they've been behind so far in this half, they've taken risks. They were force buying in situations where they had choices to save. They know they're the underdog. They know they're expected to play this passive, very preserved way in this game, and they're doing the exact opposite. They're coming out. You've got players like Esperanto that are playing incredibly aggressive games of CS right now and are really just shutting down Gambit at this point. Like this round specifically,
no respect.
No response at all from Gambit. Imperial just taking duels out in mid. They're giving them, as you said, zero respect right now, and it's working perfectly as Esperanto shuts down the last kill of the half, and we get 13-2.
Is Esperanto is 27-4 in this first half. I don't think, it's been a long time since I've seen something that dominant.
He's also had 9 rounds with multi-frags and a 93% kill assist ratio.
Can someone please nerf? He's 160 ADR.
93% kill assist ratio is insane. So that means he's been a part of 93% of the kills his team has had.
That is too much. Like, someone please nerf him. That makes no sense. He's so good, man. Like,
yeah, so he ends the half as well, now that we've got it updated. Or actually, no, we're still waiting for one more round to catch up to us here. He's currently sitting at 160 ADR, and that does not compensate for the last round there as well.
And I think he got 3 frags in the last round.
Yep, so it should go up from there.
Jesus Christ.
That is an insane stat line just right there. What he's
how do you answer that? That's kind of like when Snatchy played against North yesterday. And even though the rest of his team were far behind in North, were playing really well, they still lost the map to Snatchy alone. And that's the same thing. The only difference is that the rest of the team of Imperial, they're following him. Like 16 kills on Nexa, 12 kills on Crystal. Isolated is quite fine. Nuki hasn't really had a lot to do, but that's okay. Because the secondary op has taken the shine there with that rifle.
Nuki's not even negative. It's all right. He's 6-6.
It's fine.
He's only tied 6 times in the entire half.
And he hasn't really lost any duels and lost any map control with it either. Like, he's just not had any action.
Yeah, Esperanto died only 4 times the entire half. 4 out of 15 rounds. That's it. So that is an insane stat line as well. Esperanto just completely dominating Gambit right now. Doja, though, catching the boost up, and they don't see Adrian either, but Esperanto puts him down. He will quickly be traded out by Doja. He's the one saving force here so far in this pistol round, and obviously, with the scoreline set before us, Gambit absolutely have to win this pistol round, or they will quickly find themselves knocked out of this map.
Mo is just trying to make that difference right now. He's really trying hard. He's coming in with the USP, trying to challenge in mid, but not finding anything. Crystal still with the Molotov, still with the smoke.
He's going to be the next one to score here as he moves in and takes down Mo. But still, it's only an even fight after that. Mir as well just deletes Nuki. So it's all on Crystal and Tensky, and they're already down to about half HP each.
Tensky's aim right there is on point.
Nice little jump out from Tensky, and again, we're even.
Yeah, what are they going to do here? Because they have 2 options. They can either go towards B. I think with the setup right now, I would probably go towards B. They have the Molotov for headshot, and then the smoke they can throw down either towards CT or Heaven, and then they only have to focus on like one angle, basically. One angle towards CT or Heaven, and one on the side. And they're probably going to be able to 2v1 whoever's on that bomb site, unless like a gamble rotation comes in. And that's Mir that has to come in with that. That seems to be the case. Let's see if they're going to go for that. Right now, not looking like the headshot Molotov, but wait and see Hobbit in position here.
Hobbit's got a close rotate too. Mir's not even that far away. As long as he can, waste some time, and he's got the first kill already. Can now just take the duel in the open and waste time for Mir. The assist flash comes in, but where's the kill? Oh no, Tensky's gonna be given a chance at this, but he's also completely out of time anyway. Even if he got that first kill, all his teammate would have had to do was run away from Heaven, and they would have won the round. So it is Imperial to take control again and go up to 13 now at the beginning of the second half.
Yeah, very nice flashbang coming in there from the teammate Hobbit being helped out. Doja to start things off, finding too quick, eliminating Esperanto. For only the 5th time in this map, someone has done that. We'll be buying up pistols, of course. Did not get the plant. So we'll see a bunch of Deagles here come out. 2 MP9s. Gambit not a fan of the new MP7 meta, not deciding to go that way.
Still going to stick with the old stuff for now. Here, keeping it quiet as well as he gets himself up the Shroud boost. As far as I can tell, didn't make any noise. So we'll see the execute from Imperial. That position will go unnoticed here.
Mo in mid with that scout, and they have to get through him first in order to take control. Even has the rotation come in for the nade. That nade is perfect. A lot of nade damage being done so far. 70 in total. With just 2 grenades. Ooh. Okay, smoke is missed. That's unfortunate.
Trying to reapply it into connector Z right there, but it doesn't end up working out too well. Hobbit is going to be sitting back ready to take the challenge now that his team picked up. Around Doja. And Hobbit all mopping up shop right here. Just 2 remaining from the side of Imperial. Crystal and Nexa going to do their best to try and do some damage. Good pop flash comes out from Crystal, but where's the kill doesn't happen. Just Nexa left in the fight, but he does a lot better with that, his own pistol. Able to quickly knock out. Mir goes for another one, but it won't happen. Adrian takes him down, and Gambit, all right, they've got a little bit of a streak rolling now.
Got 4, but they'll need to add more.
This is the easy part, though. Obviously, the pistol being taken for them.
Yeah.
These are just the anti-ecos. Wait until Imperial gets a buy, then we'll talk.
Yeah, wait until Esperanto gets on and off. I'll wait. I'll gladly wait for that. This is going to be the full eco, as mentioned before. 1 P250 and 1 Zeus is all that's invested from the T side. Let's see if they just want to get this over with. It looks like a very, very simple A split. Probably just going to wait for the smoke and then just go in. Nade takes Esperanto and Tensky down as well. Makes them easy.
Another bank nade about to come in too.
Oh,
This one
let's
should do
see.
some damage.
3-pointer.
Let it go.
Kobe. Nah, that was terrible.
Hit Tensky, kind of.
That's CSGO nades for you. Like, landing 20 centimeters in front of Tensky does like 5 damage.
Yeah. They're not supposed to do that much damage, apparently, though, so.
Mir. And Adren in the crossfire, but Adren is in the middle of everything.
Hello! Dren is still going to be able to put together a good offensive here, and at the very least act as a great distraction as 4 players die on Imperial within just seconds of each other. And quickly, Gambit secure the rest of the round as well, getting themselves up to 5 and inching them that much closer to a comeback. Long way to go, still 8 rounds behind, but it's a good start.
To grind from now on out. To grind not only the most important like buy rounds, where we'll be facing up against very deadly Imperial squad, but also the half saves, the CSEDs, the Desert Eagles, as we see Crystal bringing to the table right now. The money's not actually that good on Imperial, so we're not going to see the op on either Esperanto or Nuki just yet. But this is still a chance for them, because this is the bonus round for Gambit, UMP and MP9 and Hobbit and Doja respectively. And 4 AKs on the T side, so slight advantage gun-wise for the T team. Here comes the smoke.
Look, Vex is just going to run right into before they actually have full utility deployed. Hobbit still catches the first kill, but it happens disconnected from this take. Nex is still trying to get himself forward, but remember, he's blinded out. He can't really spot much. It's Crystal and Esperanto to find the first volley of exchanges here, but it's only served to even it up into a 3v3, and Doja has yet to jump out here. Nexus sees him, but reacts too slowly, and both Doja and Mo pick up those very crucial kills, which is now going to bring it down to just Crystal in a 1v3. Spots Doja, but it doesn't matter. He shut it down, and Gambit went out another round.
Yeah, it's the way that Doja just being able to hold that back corner and not being taken out for so long is a big mistake for Imperial coming into that. They need to pounce on that bomb side and just take him out, because him just staying alive in that corner. Yes, he only gets the 1 frag and then the frag in the end here against Crystal, but just by staying alive, he's just adding more fuel to the fire of Gambit. As long as he doesn't die, they have a great chance of retaking.
So Imperial. I have no clue what that was.
That's land for you.
Imperial looking like they are going to get themselves ready to move in relatively quickly onto the A bomb site on this eco round.
Almost off to up the door. Mir, and Mo ready to go.
Here specifically, himself behind it.
Oh, okay.
Mo.
Dangerous.
Probably, the good news here is, yeah, they've tricked him up really bad, and Adrian just gets himself a good, quick triple kill from the back lanes. Tensky, all these trades on the Mo, drops the optical, gets picked up. He actually gets another one there, too. Sneaks off a quick headshot on the Doja. Adrian does take him out afterwards, though, and ends up with a nice 4K on the round.
Nice little stat padding for the man that used to be, and to some extent still is, the star of this team. Adren, spamming away. Getting that nice 3K and then pulling out the pistol for the final frag. 13-7. Full buy for both teams. Nuke is on the op. You'll see him trying to find aggressive positions in awkward spots, like that one on the car, where you can kind of spot down towards the white box if someone just peeks their head out. But no one is biting right now. But he'll choose those different kind of like alternative ways of peeking with the op.
Hobbit going hunting early on, as you just saw there, is able to take down Tensky and again limit the numbers for Imperial here. So far their T side is not impressed that much. Came very close in the pistol round. Was almost able to close it out there, but Gambit did hold on. So far have been flawless on the CT side.
Crystal. No Molotov this time around. As Imperial, they still need to find a way to break a bomb site. And I feel like this B execute could be one of the ways. Pushing out Hobbit between two Molotovs will burn to his death.
Nothing to do about that.
Yeah.
Just take that one and move on to the next round right there. So he'll get knocked out. That'll give him the trade. Obviously, a lot of utility was used to do that, though. But it's really nothing. It's just a small gesture for Imperial. They still have 40 seconds left to execute. Decent amount of utility they can utilize, obviously, with some of those already being gone, and now trying to throw a little bit of a mini fake into this site as well. They still have 2 smokes to get on A. Problem is they don't throw a smoke here in B, so Crystal's going to be on his own, basically just trying to sell this. But as soon as he goes down, and they trade him out, if they check the B hulls, they're going to see that there's nothing there. For now, the effect is working. Crystal's 1-for-1 trade has still kept the majority of the B players inside of that site. And now it's up to really just Mir at the moment to hold on to this. He goes 1-for-1. Good enough. It keeps tied to a 2v2, but Nuke is going to get himself nice and close. The fight right here, and unfortunately over peak. He still manages to leg Doja, but doesn't get the kill. So now it's on Esperanto, the big man on the team, to close it down, and he instantly clips Mo, taking him out. Doja should be the easy part. Let's see. Hasn't found him yet. He comes very close to dying, but he gets it done again. And Neil, sigh of relief we see from him.
It actually makes no sense the way that he does that. He goes for the pixel peek towards CT against an op, wins that straight away, and then he goes for like the wide peek while crouched. And he gets dinked to 8 HP, but still re-peeks after that. Like the confidence to re-peek against another headshot angle on 6 HP. I don't even understand that. Like,
as I said, just no fear whatsoever.
Yeah, and they said it, like Nexa, I think, said it in an interview. We wanted to go to the semifinals just to go to the playoffs. So we already accomplished that goal. We'll just go in with no fear, no respect. We'll see how far we can go.
Well, so far that strategy is working perfectly. 14-7. The reality of the situation immediately resets back, and even after just the first round on their T side is won by Imperial, as Gambit have to show up now. As if we do see Imperial chaining together this next round as well, even if Gambit wins the next one, it's going to be very, very difficult for them to, after that, win 7 rounds in a row, and then tie it up at 15-15.
Also, Mose has no utility because the money on Gambit is actually not that strong. The rest of the team will have full utility and kits them all on almost everyone, but if they lose this, the money is not looking good. Where it's gonna be. Looks like, yeah, ironically enough, B is gonna be where the hit comes. 3 players situated towards that area. They have no Molotov, so no backside or headshot Molotov. They can still smoke CT, still smoke lower. Nuke finds the first one.
In the meantime, Doja jumping back up on top to find it, but it's Esperanto again, leading on the front lines here, surrounding, completely flanking out Doja as well, as he's already up to 2 kills in just this round. Mo, now just Mo as well, left into the fight after he loses Adren, and Mo almost getting spammed on the way back. He's now trying to save us with his lost teammate. There's no chance at a retake, and Imperial will be going up to map point on Gambit's map pick.
And they even have the lurk from Crystal in this sense. He thinks he's gonna come up car, but That's the other way around for Mo, so he might be able to save this up. Yeah, in this position he probably will. But as you said, 15 for Imperial to 7 on the map choice of Gambit.
And after Gambit did so well on this map, just under a day ago as well.
Look at the scoreboard. How is this real?
34 and 10.
How is someone that good at this game?
He's feeling it.
Yeah.
It's one of those days for him. Clearly, Esperanto proving himself to be the MVP so far this game, but he's going to have to show up at least one more time to try and shut out Gambit and take control of map number 1 of the series here. That going over to Mirage. If they're ready to fight on Mirage as well, this could, was seeming like it was going to be a Gambit-dominated series. This could shift the complete other direction and go all to Imperial.
I said he was 19 years of age before. That's actually a lie. Esperanto is 17.
Oh my god.
How is he 17 and this good at Counter-Strike?
17, wow.
He probably started playing when I retired.
I'm now curious to see when he started playing, actually.
Holy. That is insane.
Can you check his career page and see how far back it goes? Oh, Hobbit gets the first kill this time. That being against Crystal as he tries to kind of lurk out in the middle of the zone. So I think this has alerted Gambit to what may be going on here, but they haven't been able to spot any of the pressure inside of these B hulls just yet. Their own smoke is sadly blocking it. Doge is going to try to play close to the chest. However, he moves up, catches the second kill for himself before finally going down the next. That's only the first kill from Imperial, though. They're still outnumbered 3v4, but they're committed to the cause here. They're going to move in onto the B site. They try to push in towards it. Pensky next on the lineup here, but he hesitates, backs away from it. So instead, we'll chuck the molly on the ground and try to hold the back. Can't do it, though. Mir's already pushed through. It's going to have to be Nuki and Nexa to hold the line, and they do it. Trading out those frags, and Nexa getting hyper-aggressive, but he misses the Q back on Tree Room. It's down to Nuki to now try and clutch 1v1. Let's see if he can do it. He's got the lineup, but no! Hobbit denies, and Gambit stay alive.
He only has tournament results from 2016 and forward.
So I would say he probably started playing in like 2015, 2014 casually and went from there. Somewhere in that neighborhood.
That is insane. And also, yeah, most of that, like the first year and a half was just like national results with full Lithuanian teams. And then he started playing FPL, surprised everyone. Made this team originally with another countryman of his own, Kalinka. That didn't work out. Went for Nuke instead, and that worked out. And now everything is working out.
Well, right now he's dropping 140 ADR against the major champions. Just goes to show you how awesome Counter-Strike is, and that anyone can jump into the game at any point. Prove they are the best. No limits at all. This round is going to start itself off relatively close, a 1-to-1 exchange, but it has eliminated the best man on Imperial right now, Esperanto. Mir also went down for Gambit, though. That brought us to a 4v4 with Adrian also being put relatively low. However, look at this flight from Hobbit. Oh my god, Nuki just immediately puts him down with just a measly little P250.
4v3 in this scenario right now. Drenna 13 HP. This is actually doable. This could be the round where they win cash. The bomb is dropped, yes, but there's still an opportunity. Remember, this was nothing, like just pistols to begin with. They've gotten 2 kills and a lot of damage on a Dren and picked weapons up as well. Crystal is on the big lurk, and they still have 40 seconds, so they can wait for the double lurk coming in from Crystal and his teammate.
Nice peek from Mo, though. Gets a quick spot on the Tensky and finds
really
the pre-fire to take him down. So this could restore it now for Gambit. Nuki, in the meantime, trying to go for that lurk. He's going to get pushed close up, but he's not ready for it. His nade does successfully take out Mo. And of course, with the good damage done before, Crystal will try to push the fence. It's down to Nexa once again, but it's also in a 1v1, and he only needs to hit 1 shot on Doja. Also picking up an AK. Time is getting low, however. Makes the push around the corner. Doja will not give him the peek from the truck angle just yet. They'll have to go, put the bomb down on the site, and this is when Doja will push forward. Doja at the moment is playing this very well. And now it's time for the patient game. Nexa gonna go for the peek, but that's what sells it. Doja outsmarts Nexa, takes him down even with low HP, and once again allows Gambit to stay in this fight.
Ice cold play from Doja with only 9 HP. Makes that clutch happen. The big man himself. Another round on the board.
And I think that's a good play from Doja right there, and in a way kind of reading into the, obviously Nex is a bit of the exception, but reading into, I think, the inexperience when it comes to the overall leadership of Imperial, and that, okay, he's not going to guide him to play passive in that situation. He's going to let him play aggressive, and Doja knew he was going to do just that. So he sits back, waits for him to get the angle advantage, and shuts it down even with the low HP.
Still, money's not perfect for Gambit, and they need to grind 6 rounds in a row to take this to OT. Hobbit is on an MP9. Mo and Doja already now without any utility.
They don't even see what's on boosters, I think, because of the smokes as well.
Mo, nice shot though.
Yeah, he's going to be able to catch one. Crystal wrapping around the corner, still has a half-blinded Adrian, but Mo comes in and makes sure that the trade stays strong for Gambit and that they stay ahead in this matchup.
Mo and Adren just seems to be the rocks of Gambit. When things start to fail or something goes awry, they step up. Double frag for Mo so far in the round. And you can see the Esperanto, like he wants to peek, but he's very careful. There's a lot of respect for Mo and his op.
Esperanto checking everything, especially with that decoy still sitting in Z. He's going to be thrown off by it a little bit just to make sure that he covers every position in mid. And he has to be very careful. As you can tell with Mo having this angle, he has to be very careful if he decides to swing back around, which this will be the plan. They will be going for an execute, judging from the current lineup that they have on their other two players. It's going to be a tough ask, however. Only 2 smokes, a single Molotov. Flashbangs are also not the most prevalent amongst the 3 remaining players on the T side either here, but the door's swung open. The secret is revealed. Oh, and Esperanto jumps at the exact perfect time. Mir, though, looking to shut this down, but he only gets 1. Nukia trades it back. We're in the 2v2, and it's Esperanto getting aggressive again. He pushes forward and Trump is going to get caught, however, from Highway, and that puts it all down. There's 1 man. Nukia looking for the clutch. The first kill is easy. Let's see if he can shut down Hobbit now. Smoke will block the path. He tries to maybe go for the shot right there, but holds back. Hobbit now has a close-up position. Let's see how he's going to play it. Wrapping around. He makes it a lot of noise, though, so Nukia should be able to hear this and read into it. He's going to try to wrap back around as well. He's got the shot to the back, but he's checking 4 tries to no scope, but no! Hobbit again closes down for Gambit and gets them to double digits at 10 to 15.
2 1v1s in a row swing Gambit's way. And Imperial, they must be kicking themselves because like 1v1, unless you're Sipnix, is always a 50-50 gamble. And they've now lost 2 50-50 gambles in a row. That's a tough one to deal with, but luckily for them, have a lot of good players in that team. Surely to bounce back. Gambit, though, keeping it stable. 5 more rounds. And then we have the OT. A lack of pauses, in my opinion, throughout this map for both teams, actually.
That's true, yeah.
Imperial I can understand because you just want to keep this going, just feed the beast. But I feel like Gambit could have probably used 1 or 2 pauses.
They were using pauses in the first half, but the thing is that this second half has been so close fought, like so close in just terms of an outcome, basically. Yeah. So I think both teams are kind of like, no, let's just keep this going. We're so close, guys. Like, we don't want to cause a stop in momentum all of a sudden.
It makes sense.
Gambit specifically don't really need one because they've got a good winning streak going right now. If anyone, it would be Imperial. Kind of just need to calm down a little bit there. That's that inexperience showing.
Yep. A gentleman, of course, not going with the CZ, has the Tech 9 out. Always nice.
Yeah, really. How often do you see that nowadays? Maybe a little bit more now.
Hobbit. Okay. He's going to make this work.
They're just walking right into the headshot angle for him, but it's a quick trade from Nukia. Credit to Nukia. Now Doja sits in the 1-and-done corner. Ready to get his 1 in a moment. For Imperial to finally execute here. Still got plenty of time. They don't necessarily need to panic. There's Doja with the quick pick up. Esperanto walks right in him. He wanted to take that corner position. Instead, it's Doja that finds the kill. Like I said, though, 1 and done. Now Adrian looks to shut this down as we are down to just Nukia in a 1v3. Got close to finding a kill onto Adrian. Now looks for one at Heaven instead and connects onto it. He'll move forward. It's just Adrian and Mir left in the fight, and he knows where one of them is.
Now he's committed to this side. Well, I thought he was committed to the side peek. Apparently he was too afraid of an upper peek coming at the same time. And that's always hard in like that 1v2 situation because you know where one is. And technically you would always focus on that duel, but you always got to be so afraid of someone just being in an angle where they can frag you out. And then you kind of have to decide in those split seconds. And in a different reality, he would probably have been facing side instead of upper and then won that duel. Then it would have been down to another 1v1. But that's CS for you, like split second decisions decide rounds. This is the full buy, though, for Imperial.
Straight up rush B, it looks like. Why not? Tensky moving up, finds an opening frag on a Doja, but the problem is they haven't taken care of Hobbit, and he's going to line up a massive spray. 3 kills for him in this round alone. And now brings the Imperial roster down to just 2. Crystal and Nexa, the only ones that can stay in this fight. For now, it will go calm as they're given access to B. And the ability to put the bomb onto the ground. Curiosity, in this case, is what'll kill Crystal, though. As Mo moves in, just waits in the vents, takes him down, and again, puts Nexa into the hot seat.
He's so done right now. Flashes and Molotovs coming in left, right, and center. He even gave away his position, goes for the first peek. Grouping up at headshot angle. Nicely done. Actually, one thing that I wanted to point out there was the Molotov that was messed up in the B main, that actually landed behind and forced them to actually all push out of main into the spray of Hobbit. If that Molotov had landed at headshot or somewhere else, then the secondary guys here, wouldn't have been forced out to just run out. There's a Molotov right behind them. They cannot stay there. And that was a small mistake. Like, as I said early in the game, like, Imperial, very skilled individually, but still as a team, they make mistakes. This is another one of those small mistakes. Didn't cost them the round, but it was one of the factors that did.
Imperial, I believe, now on max losing bonus as well, so buys are going to continue to stack up for them. They are going to be given multiple chances now to try and shut this down, but they've only got 3 left. Gambit, very close to tying us up and taking us into overtime. Of course, they still need those 3 rounds consecutively, and Imperial can shut down this map at any point and take it in regulation still. But it's always when you get to 14, 15 rounds in this case for Imperial. Those nerves start to set in, and that unexplainable reasoning shows up of how hard it is to claim that final round of the map, especially for a young team like this.
Crystal, clearly the most experienced of the team with his stints in Penta, but went to multiple majors. And as mentioned before, his long career in Counter-Strike Source before Go. Started at a young age. The rest of the team surrounding him. Nexa, some experience as well. Tensky, long tenure on mediocre pro teams for a while. This is his first like real big shot, I feel like. He did have a stint on SK Gaming as well back when they were Danish. But Crystal the most experienced on this team.
Nice spam coming in from Hobbit. A double kill through the smoke against Esperanto and Nukia. And now Imperial are trying to make up for it, but they're getting destroyed. Hold on, maybe not. Tensky and Crystal both finding trades inside of this site. Mo, Lear, and Hobbit still standing, but they've been locked out. Mo's got a slight angle from heaven, but unless he wants to get aggressive, he's not going to be able to see much from it. Just using their nades, Molly to hopefully get someone out and into the open, but it won't work.
This is the round.
No one's holding that position, so let's see from Imperial. Just have to hold up against the retake now. Nexa strikes first well, as he takes down Hobbit. There was an attempt at number 2, but it's going to be a trade from Tensky instead. And now just Mir left standing here. He makes the push, tries to do this 1v2, gets himself access to headshot at least, but now is stuck here, completely blinded out. That's another 5 seconds gone right there. Trying to take the duel, but again, he's cornered in. There's no room for him to work, and Imperial just waiting out the timer. Gets the kill, he's going to jump onto it. It's full 10 seconds.
No kid.
I don't even think he's got it with that. He's going to jump off, and it's over, ladies and gentlemen. Imperial claim map number 1 of the series, a final score of 16-12. And they will now be one more map away from a grand final here at the DreamHack Open.
What a game from Imperial, and what a great comeback as well. Gambit to try to grind it back after a terrible first half. They actually did a decent result on that second try to make the comeback happen, but you can't really do much when Esperanto decides to drop 35 in one map. That's just, how are you going to deal with that? The rest of Imperial behind it, it was really clear in the last couple of rounds that Crystal's experience was the one that carried them through. He was the one alive in that final round as well, setting up the post plant. There's so much gone right for Imperial.
And that was that one thing they needed to push them over the edge. They were struggling a little bit towards the end of the game, but it was Esperanto that was the major player throughout, a good 75, 80% of the game. Had massive stats as well that entire time. We already talked about it sometime in the middle there as well. He had at one point about 94% kill assist ratio and over 160 ADR at one point in the game as well. Very impressive indeed, and we're going to have to see if they can continue that onto map number 2 on Mirage. That's coming up, guys, in just a few minutes. Stick with us for more here from DreamHack Summer.